Hey guys, before we start the show, I wanted to remind you guys that if you are interested in launching your own podcast, or if you have a current podcast that you would like to rebrand, this is your chance. Idea to Launch Academy. Go to my show description, use my affiliate code. You don't want to miss this chance. The self-paced course is still available. So this is your chance. What are you waiting for? Go to my show description, Idea to Launch Academy. You don't want to miss this. You could be here just like me on a mic telling your story. Go use my affiliate code. Go. Hurry. Welcome to Double Dose of Raw Talk Podcast. I am your host, Miss D. On this weekly show, you will tune in to discussions of different topics about today's society, culture, and adulthood. Of course, there's always juicy conversation with a little bit of love and plenty of sex. And let's not forget the stories of all relationships and the mess with relationships. Join me every week along with my friends and guests to get your dose and keep it raw on everything and anything. And remember, no topic is off limits. All right, welcome back everyone to another week and another episode on Double Dose of Raw Talk Podcast. I am your host, Miss D, and today I have a pretty dope and amazing guest on the show. How far do we go? 17, 18 years, like college time?
I would say about 16, 17 years.
16,
Sounds about
17,
right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So I bring to you guys, y'all been tuning into my episodes. I've been bringing some of my dopest people from my college days. And I have here for you guys someone who has an amazing craft, an amazing background, amazing history just in his success and where he is today. And of course, so relevant to something that I want to dive into. I have here for you guys a good friend, Chris. Welcome to Double Dose of Raw Talk Podcast.
What's up, y'all? What's up? Yeah, Daisy, thank you for having me.
Yes. So this is going to be pretty dope. You already know there's not one episode that Double Dose of Raw Talk does not begin with an icebreaker. And so today, Chris, I am going to kick it off with an icebreaker for this or that. Okay.
Cool.
It's been some time since Chris and I had any conversations, but we're going to dig a little deep here. With just some interests of Chris. Okay. And so, in the essence of good times and years, I have 7 questions for you. Okay. And I'm always going to want a little bit of an explanation behind it. Okay.
Okay.
So, the first one, this or that, write a 10-page essay on politics or read a 10-chapter erotica novel.
And that's a tough one.
I knew it would be.
Damn. Forgive me on the square. I'm just gonna. Now I don't even want to do that because I just wrote a 10-page essay for my theater history class. Shit. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the novel. I'm gonna go with the novel.
Okay. He's going with the novel. I like that. I do like that. Okay. So there's I love that he said, damn, that's a tough one. There's a reason why I put those two, right? There's a reason. And we'll go a little deeper as to why that was a reason why I put those two together. Just of course with Chris's history, but you would think, right? A lot of people would probably be like, oh, hell yeah, the erotical novel. No, not necessarily, guys. Not necessarily. You have to listen, as a woman who is all into erotic shit, you have to be mentally prepared to sit there and read a whole 10 chapters of an erotica novel. I'm just saying. But see, Chris is giving me the face. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I know. You have to be prepared for that. Okay, don't underestimate that. You have to be prepared. All right, next one. I don't know if you do, but in the event that you don't, let's just pretend that you do.
Okay.
When smoking cigars, whiskey or tequila?
No, you gotta go with whiskey.
You have to, right?
Yeah, you have to. It's either whiskey or cognac, but as far as like the two, but if you don't have cognac, then you go with the whiskey. Yeah.
I know some fools who have done tequila. Some of those fools have tried to get my number. And the moment I see the tequila in their hand, that is the end of our conversation. I just don't give them my number. It just
She's
I
like,
can't.
no,
No,
you're
no.
done. I'm
That's
sorry,
it.
no.
There's levels to this, and if I see
Right.
that tequila in your hand, that's just meant for a shot glass. That's not meant to go with your cigar. It's just not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, smart
I thought
man.
that was cardinal rule, but okay.
Me too. No, some people don't know that. All right,
Okay.
next one. 2 minutes jumping rope or 2 minute run.
It all depends on the intensity with that. So you can so with a run, it all depends if you're doing a sprint or like a fast jog. I mean, you can. I prefer to run because my arms will get dumb tired as far as with the 2 minute
with,
jump rope.
with the
Because I've
jump
done
ropes.
both before, so yeah. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I would say to run.
Okay. I bring this up because I've joined this K-Fit gym virtual. Shout out to
Okay,
K-Fit. They kicked my ass. It was like a
nice.
Friendsgiving special. And a friend of mine, shout out to Shay, she was like, yo, guys, join in. So I did. When I tell you they have kicked my ass, they've kicked my ass.
Well, that's their job. I mean,
I
they're
know.
supposed to kill you. You're supposed to be going out the gym crawling. I mean, as far as I know, a lot
No.
of people are like, I don't want to do that. No, nah. If you ain't sweating,
Mm-hmm.
or if
Mm-hmm.
you ain't as far as like trying to gasp for air,
Right.
quit today. Not then. That's not where you need to be.
So shout out to my trainer Rick. I am coming back to the gym. I promise, Rick. In his good words and Beth's good words, my other personal trainer. If you die, you die. And
Exactly.
K-Fit, definitely, they just killed me. So I was very in my feelings about jumping rope and running, because
Okay.
they just have no mercy whatsoever to either one. So there. But good.
I
I
mean,
like.
but you notice as far as when we used to box with Lewis. So I mean,
Stop it! I do. I remember.
you remember that. So
I
yeah.
do.
So it's
Yeah,
no different.
those are college days, good memories. I literally used to go get like a front row seat, quote unquote, to watch this shit go down because it was so impressive to me how you guys used to work. And I mean work. Shout out to Lewis. I haven't spoken to him in a long time. I don't know where he is, but shout out to him.
He's doing his own thing. I haven't spoken to him in a while either, but occasionally I'll catch him. But he's from what I know, he's okay.
Good. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
When I know he's okay. So
Yeah, I got some really strong people around. I really do. All right. The next one. Again, I don't know if you drink this or not or have, but here it goes.
uh,
Coffee or Red Bull?
neither shit. I'm
Neither.
joints both poisons. But coffee, as far as if I'll drink coffee, it'll be before working out. It'll be black with nothing in it. It'll be just strictly black. And I know that's disgusting for most people, but
It's
it,
not. It's
mm,
not. Okay, so I still need my cup of coffee a day. I do.
yeah,
But I decided that for a pre-workout, left the pre-workouts to the side and I do a black coffee straight. No sugar.
yeah,
And it's the same boost. It's the
yeah,
same force I get. So I totally fuck with that.
exactly.
Red Bull, I stopped. I have no
I
shame in
haven't drank
admitting
one in like
this.
16 years.
Oh my God. Can I just tell you how I thought I was going to have a heart attack when I used to drink that during finals? I thought I was going to have a fucking heart attack. Heart attack. No
Yeah, that's
lie.
bad.
No lie. It was bad. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's bad.
Yeah. Red Bull's out of my life. I won't even drink it. I sometimes see some of my people, shout out to y'all who do
Mm.
this with some Hennessy. I can't fuck with it. Keep the Red Bull away from me. I just can't. All right. Next one from a creative space. Here it goes. Don't nobody come for my man, all right? Tyler Perry or Oprah?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. This is thinking.
I mean, for this is a tough one because I have my critique about both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna have to go with Oprah.
You're gonna have to go with Oprah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I want to know
I
more
mean,
about this
I
critique.
not I just feel with Tyler, he needs to hire writers because he does everything himself. Now, and it's not diminishing what his accomplishments are.
Right.
He's the first black man to own a whole studio,
Mm-hmm.
an entire studio,
Right.
which is dope. And he's made careers for a lot of Black actors, giving them work and stuff like that. And I can never fault him for that. But the thing about it is, when his shtick has ran old a long time ago, this is just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think as far as he's capable of doing more, like the movies that he's done, like The Family That Prays, Medea's Family Reunion, and there's a third one that I enjoyed. I can't think of the third
Is
one.
it
I
Meet
might
the
come.
Browns?
That was okay.
Or
I
the
mean,
one
but
with
I'm.
Taraji?
Are you talking about
I Can Do Bad All By Myself.
Is that the name of it?
I think that's the one, because actually,
I know Mary J's in it, but I forgot the name of it either.
that's Taraji's. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. So but the only my two favorites are Medea's Family Reunion and Diary of a Mad Black Woman's honorable mention. But Family That Prays was one of his best ones, though. That was one of the best ones he's at, and I wanted to see more like that. With as far as like the writing was good, as far as the storyline was good, it was like a lot of twists and turns. It was cool, like stuff like that. But I feel as far as it's okay for him to hire writers. I don't know why he doesn't do it,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say that's my one critique of him.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, with Oprah, a lot of people, as far as like they feel she man bashes a lot, but
Right.
I'm just like, Oprah's one of the most powerful Black women I've ever seen. So and if she likes you and she wants to put you on your wing, your career is set. So
Pretty much.
it's things. So it's like so that's pretty much my only thing with Oprah. But she's been real quiet the last few years or so, to me at least. But yeah, I would say Oprah. I'll have to go with Oprah Tyler.
I have to agree with her success. Definitely.
Yeah.
From a creative space, I do think that, first of all, I find it that a lot of people see past the movie The Family That Prays, because
Mm-hmm.
they focus so much on the comedy aspect of Tyler.
Yes.
And if any of you guys have not watched I could watch The Family That Prays a million times over and over again.
Yeah.
Let me just be very honest. That is probably my top favorite movie, along with the one with Taraji and Mary J. And I agree with you. The drama in it, the writing, the acting, it was just so amazing in that movie. And I too was hoping to see more of that. So when I saw that he did open up his studio, I said,
Which
"Oh,
Bad Boys for Life was actually filmed there. Part
yes,
of
it
it was
was.
filmed there.
Yes,
And
I
Coming
heard.
to America 2, which has not come out yet. So yeah.
Yeah. He's doing a lot of things, but I do have to agree with you. From a creative space, I've recently, and they will soon be coming on the show as well. Shout out to them. I've recently not only have been acting in an audio drama podcast, but I've been given an opportunity to write a full episode. And so,
Oh, nice.
yes, and so it's helped me tap into a little
Okay.
passion of mine. But it's also when you give that opportunity to someone else, it's pretty amazing from a creative space too. So I'm really hopeful with Tyler, just letting loose a little bit more and giving more and more an opportunity here, and making his studios grow further. So thank you for that insight. I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Continuing on the creative space, if you had to produce, okay, would you go with either a theater or a full TV show? So that would be like an entire play or a full TV show.
Um, More my niche. My niche is more TV film. So I'll probably, but yeah, it'll be always TV. I'm not objective to theater,
Okay.
but yeah, TV
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
Okay. And you've acted in both, right? In both.
All three, yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay, y'all know I had to put a question like that in there to get a little more into Chris's business.
All three, yeah.
Okay, from just thinking back on the classics, I'm gonna hit up on music now. This is a very
All right.
important. This is a very important topic to me. Okay,
Okay.
it is. It is. I want to see where your space is with this. From a
Okay.
classical standpoint, okay, considering a cigar and some whiskey, would you rather listen to the entire time a good dose of R&B or a good dose of jazz?
No, it have to be R&B. I love jazz, but it'll be R&B.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like jazz, but as far as like I'm more modern when it's concerned. I mean, can't front Winston Marsalis, one of the best jazz players who ever lived. One of him, he was dope. But it's like R&B, and I was thinking about this the other day. Um, it's mad that I can't listen to R. Kelly the same way anymore because I still have all 4 of his albums, and I'm just looking at him like looking at it guilty, like damn, I cannot play you no more. Shit. But
You know,
yeah,
Chris, kudos to you for bringing that up because I know. No, let me be very honest about something. When I started this
yeah,
platform, I had already canceled R. Kelly, right? And
right.
I it was terrible to see, you know, the documentary. It was terrible to find out all of his business, right?
Yeah,
Um, I had already had some thoughts about him and some sentiments about him when I saw his ex-wife, Drea, on Hollywood Exes, and certain things that she shared about her life with him. Now,
right.
so we don't, you know, by we I mean me, double dose of raw talk. You know, this whole one woman
Mhm.
show here. We don't really talk about R. Kelly, but in the essence that you did mention it, I just want to say this. I too am faced with that struggle. When I made the decision to delete all his music from my playlist, yes, I knew what my decision was going to be. I knew it.
Yeah,
But it's hard to decide that when we've been, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say it, we've been bumping and grinding to his music for a very long time.
yeah.
And now it's like, oh,
His
this is
first 4 albums were classics. Like it's retarded that he is who he is, but made 4 back-to-back classic albums. It was, and then you just look at it like,
damn.
well, can't
Yep.
listen to that no more. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I was done with
But
the same shit. I was done with the same shit. So he frees up a lot of space in my R&B selections.
yeah,
He really did. I did delete him entirely. So it's hard. And now it's like, y'all already know I have a teenager. So now with him exploring classics too, you know, he's had a few questions here and there. I've started to face that
right.
out with him. And so when he has brought up R. Kelly, it's like I've had to sit down and explain to him why we just not going to support that. And so he's like, you know, Ma, right? Like he was like the shit back in the day. And I'm like, yeah, but you know, you can't. So, you know,
Yeah,
now it's to
yeah.
have to further educate that piece. So thank you for bringing that up though. See, we had to tackle that. I had to. Let me just put this shit out for the record. It was hard for
but
me to delete this shit. Okay.
but if as far as like if you wanted to do like R&B, shit, as far as like when I in the 90s, what it was I mean, you had the 112s, you had Jodeci, you had Aaliyah, God bless her souls, you had Usher,
Mm-hmm.
pre-Confessions.
Yo,
So but, who else was there? Shit.
it was definitely Usher. Usher, shout out to Usher and his Confessions album. It inspired one of my episodes to title it Confessions of Miss D.
Yeah. That was a dope album. That was really a good
So
album.
dope. I R&B is definitely always my go-to to find a little bit of
Mhm.
peace, to find a little bit of good times. I feel
Yeah.
like even though sometimes, you know, don't get me wrong, I could sit here and be like, oh, I should have never wasted a 4-page
Yeah.
letter on that man. But there are some other songs
Yeah.
that I could vibe to and I could remember good shit.
Oh, also, you gotta mention the one good album Cisco had as a solo artist. You gotta
Shout
mention
out,
that.
shout out to Cisco. I don't care who
Oh yeah,
says
and
what.
the 2 Drew Hill albums, like the first one and then Into the Drew, yeah. So those 2.
Okay, so now I'm gonna dig this one a little deeper. Your favorite Drew Hill song?
It's between Beauty remix and the You Are Everything remix. Well, both actually, the original and the remix.
Oh
So it would
my
be
God. Chris is like in my head right now. Y'all don't even understand. Beauty is my top song. Like, ask my best friend.
yeah.
Ask my best friend Tina. Y'all know her. Some of y'all have heard her on the show. That is
But
my
nothing can be
top
Tell Me
song.
though.
Okay.
Because you can't, because you can't. But the thing about it is, as far as the dance, it just takes it over. I'm sorry.
Not the dance.
I'm saying, you be acting like MJ with the jump, pa, like it'll be out of there. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, the
Hey,
dancing.
you feeling
I
like MJ
can't.
when Tell Me comes on, man. I'm telling you.
That jump is sickening. I've always felt mad tall with that jump. I'm not even gonna
And I be
lie.
ODing with the jump. So this is like a slight bop. You just want to go OD with it. But I mean, that's just me. But
Listen, them 90s R&B, nobody could tell me I couldn't dance. I was a dance teacher, quote unquote, because I'm not certified or nothing, but I was a dance teacher at an after school program. And there was not one single time we did not teach these girls how to dance to one of Aaliyah's songs. Okay. Can nobody tell me I did not get Aaliyah's steps down packed?
nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Just saying, shout
Let me
out to
guess. Are you
Aaliyah.
thinking that somebody? Was it
Yeah,
that?
yes. That's what?
Why
Are
is
you
that
that
the only
somebody?
the one Aaliyah song people choreography do?
Everybody with the little when she would go and then
Right.
the little turn and then when she came out with dust yourself off and try forget it. We was dusting all over the place.
Right.
We was
Yeah, that
dusting all
too.
over the place. I mean, it was
Yeah.
crazy. Good times. It was
Yeah.
good times. See, I knew this was going to be such a good icebreaker. Now, after this, I'm going to go play some massive R&B and be dancing all by myself in my living room. Watch. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. All right.
Right,
This
right.
is really good to go down memory lane, to get a little bit of an insight on who Chris is and his this or that and what his preferences are. And we're going to dive right into our first segment. For those of you who are new to the show, the first segment is As Raw as It Gets. And this is a segment where we talk about anything related to the news, controversies, culture shit, social media, sometimes a little bit of, not a little bit, a lot of sex, love, relationships, and relationships. And for today, we're going to start it off and kick it off. And I'm going to title this From Textbooks to Manuscripts. Okay?
All right.
And so, since we met in college, right? And we were so, full of fucking textbooks then. And so here we are as full blown, successful creatives, wherever our careers have taken us. I want to dive into your beginning, right? I went from textbooks to a full blown healthcare career to now producing my entire podcast show, right? And so my
Right.
audience knows this. Sometimes here we are, we're going to school for one thing, and then life just takes us a different route, a different way, a different path.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to bring you on the show. As I said before, now I'm finding myself, oh my God, I wrote a script for an episode in an audio drama. Who would have ever thought that was going to be me? So I wanted to bring you on to talk about your journey, to talk about where we did meet and how did you begin, your interests then, and where you are today.
Well, yeah. So as for me, I mean, some people do know I'm from a Caribbean West Indian background. I was actually born here. My mom was born in Guyana. She was born in Georgetown, Guyana, and my father was born in Maria, Tobago. So my mom came in when she was about 7, and then my dad came here in his 20s. So and with them, well, mainly my mom, she always puts education. My grandmother, they always puts education. So there was no argument. Like I had no say at the time. So I had to go graduate from high school, go to college, stuff like that, which I was just like, yeah, as you get older and even through when I was a teen, it was like, okay, it is important for me to go. When I went to Baruch, I wanted to study business at the time. My major was international marketing and a minor in political science. So I'm thinking as far as like, yo, cool, you make money, because that was the focal point when you're younger. You're just like, yo, just want to make this money, whatever, work for a Fortune 500 company, do that. So I was like looking into Chase, TD Waterhouse at the time before it actually it branched off. Actually, no, it's TD American Trade now, more so. And Morgan Stanley, which is not around anymore. Or is it? It doesn't matter. Goldman Sachs, Bear Stearns. I think Bear Stearns was one of the ones that went in the crisis in 2008. I think they folded.
Yes.
So they were prominent at the time. So I always thought about, I was like, yeah, if I work this and stuff, I got an internship at Morgan Stanley in 2003, lasted till 2004. And I remember I was so hyped about it. I got there, I was like, what the fuck is this shit? So because it was just so drag, man. It just seemed like nobody really enjoyed what they did. They seemed real draw. And I always had an interest in the arts. Like I did a fashion show when I was 15, but never really followed up with it. I always said like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, that, and the third. Never really pursued it. When I got to Baruch, I started doing the Caribbean shows and stuff like that. There were two of them I was a coordinator for, along with Jessica Romero, and Natalie Estrada, who's now Natalie Estrada King. You know, shout out to Natalie.
Shout out.
So and I remember, I think it was before my, because we had like tiers of what senior or sophomore you would be. So I was in my lower senior year, and this was in 2004. So I remember calling my mom, and I was like, "Ma, I don't like what I majored in anymore. I mean, I'm still finishing in my degree, but I just want to pursue the arts." And I remember it was, when you come from a West Indian or Caribbean family, they don't consider the arts a real career. You either have to be a doctor, accountant, or somebody in business. Like teacher was somewhat of the medium, but even they wanted you to be a doctor, lawyer, or somebody successful in business. So first my mom was just like, okay, what are you doing? Eventually she warmed up to it when she actually saw me perform, but still, it was still a struggle. So, and then surprisingly enough, even when you're dating, even with women, they don't want to hear that. As far as like, they want to see what kind of money you have and stuff like that. They don't. It's either one or two things as far as you becoming an artist as a male. It's either one of the things they're going to think you're going to be a womanizer, because you're going to have all these women around you and all this other shit, and they're going to think you're broke all the time because you're an aspiring artist. So it was kind of tough. I'll be the flavor of the moment, not the month, the moment. And then they'll say like, "Oh, nah, this is not going what I pictured it going, because I figured you would have been a famous tomorrow." So after a while, things wouldn't last. Which, hey, listen, I don't fault anybody. I don't fault any, like, as far as you want what you want, and as far as you have your own goals and aspirations outside of me. So I can never really fully fault someone to actually say like, nah, this is not working out for me. It's cool. At the time, I was like, oh, what the hell you would do that? But now, getting older, you understand as far as like, hey, that was just not their speed. It was not in the line of what they saw their lives going. So luckily, I have the support of someone who's like that now, even though she's in a totally different career. She's actually an artist herself. She can sing her ass off, but she's actually in the healthcare field too. She actually works at Kings County. Like, she's an associate director of the research department. Yes. So I know I had to think about that, and then she'll look at me like, Chris, you know what the fuck I do. But she's also along with myself. We're both in grad school now. I'm getting my degree, my master's in drama, and she's getting her MBA and MS in healthcare leadership. So it's always good to actually have someone that actually supports you. And she was the one that pushed me to go for my master's in drama, which was cool. And even my mom, she was saying like, why don't you just go back and do what you love to do? So that's why I'm here now. Hence the reference I made to when she asked the question on politics, saying like, I just wrote a 10-page paper correlating politics and theater. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, I know I went off topic a little bit, but yeah, yeah, it was just something I just didn't want to do. Like business, like I know all business intertwines somehow, but I just didn't see myself in the office. It just wasn't my speed. So
You actually did not go off topic. You actually maintained on a very good topic here. It's so funny. I always say like, I have this responsibility with like letting things flow, but my guests always just dish it out for me, and it makes my job easier to continue the flow of the conversation. So two things that you mentioned that I definitely want to tackle. It's definitely the you know, the cultural aspect of it, the expectations that were set on us in entering college or pursuing a career is like, I pursued a bachelor's in the arts for communications, but
Mhm.
you know, when it came down to it, is this going to make me the money that I'm going to need to support me and my son? And so that's where I ended up going into healthcare. And I did not pursue my passion into where my internships were. I did 2 internships in Baruch. I did one with L'Oreal and the makeup company. And I did,
Nice.
yeah, and I did 2 runway shows with them. And then,
Nice.
yes, it was like a dope behind the scenes experience. And
Mhm.
the second one was with this company. I don't know if they're still up and running, but they were called the Media Edge CIA, and I was in the media buying and planning. And they gave me the accounts for radio with
Mhm.
Univision, and I was learning a lot about ad space and branding and marketing. And when you think about the arts and, you know, is this where the money is? Or because, you know, you're expected to like, all right, you pursued a whole career in college. So now we want to see you like thrive and become, you know, I don't want to say rich,
Right.
but like well off, right? Because that's the expectation they set on us. And if I'm not going to do that and I'm not going to meet that expectation, and then I have to look at myself and wonder, you know, is this really what I want to do or not? I decided to go for a career that has kept me well on a good path and has helped me get to where I am today. But I can't say it was a full passion. I cannot say that. My passion has still always been with radio. My passion has always still been with media. And so here I am, I'm finding myself on a full circle back to a space where it's very creative and it's involved with media very heavily. So
Mhm.
that's exactly what I wanted to tackle with you and shine light on that. I do feel like a lot of us, and you know, it's just 2 of us here right now on the microphone, but a lot of us are faced with those type of decisions of what the expectations come from, whether it's from our society or culture, right? To pursue certain things, right? And the pressures put on us, you know, being that our parents are born and come from our other countries, and then here we are, we're here, and the pressures put on us to have to pursue something that to them it makes sense and for our realities and being successful, whereas you can very well be someone in the arts and be extremely successful in that as well, you know.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I love that you brought that up because it was definitely something I wanted to shine light on. The other pieces, and thank you so much for saying this, because now I don't feel so guilty in having to grill you for this one. Um, the relationships aspect of it. Uh, you know, very transparently, and you guys are gonna see it when I post this. Chris is a very, very attractive man in an industry, right? Where let's face it, when it comes to the arts, when it comes to acting, the way you look has a lot to do with it, right? And so, how does that build up? You know, you shine light a little bit on it, but has it really built up any issues for you as far as any insecurities, even back when some of these women would be like, well, what the fuck? Like, you're not making enough money, or you're suddenly overnight, you did not become rich, or like you did not hit that one role. Like, did that cause you any of those type of issues as far as insecurities goes, or anything like that?
Yeah, I would say as far as like there were times as far as like what I would get where I would get down on myself about it, as far as like I say I wasn't good enough for this, good enough for that. That caused that. It would also question my working hard enough. It was a couple things. It was definitely a couple things. And I mean, and like I said, as far as like and this goes for men too. I see, and I've seen it where the woman would be, she's not becoming actress, trying to make her splash in that in her own field, and the men are just like, nah, you, what the hell, what are you doing? Like, get a real job. That's not a real job. So, and that's one of the things that I feel as far as like it's not right. I mean, and it goes into the aspect of what you, if you're getting into someone who's an artist, understand that it's not an overnight thing. Sometimes it takes over 10 years. You have to be okay with that, and saying as far as, but also expect the person to be like, okay, just be on your hustle, be on your grind. But just know their big break might not come for 10 years. You have to accept that. And I think that's one of the things that people overlook, because as far as to see like, oh, she's, she looks good or he looks good, like oh, he's about this, he's about that, like, and they think it's going to come very quickly. It doesn't always work that way. Actually, in most fields, it does not work that way. So, and people always think as far as like, oh, it's going to like if you had a real job, you can accelerate quick. I'm like, nah, I know people who haven't had a raise in about 10, 15 years. And they've been working as an associate for that long too. So sometimes it doesn't happen right away. And people think it doesn't apply to their own field within an office. I'm like, no, it does. It does. So, I mean, some places, of course, you're more than likely, all depending on what the hierarchy of your company is. But you just have to, but getting back as far as, but if you're dealing with an artist, man or woman, you have to accept the fact that their career might not take off for a bit. And you have to be okay with that and support them because they're going to get down. They are going to. And if you add to that, it does not help at all.
I appreciate that transparency from you because I find it, when you think of an artist, essentially they are the entrepreneur of their craft. And
Yep.
so you are building your profile, you're building your business, your resume as an artist, and this is your business. You are the owner, you are the CEO of what your craft is. And so when we think of entrepreneurship, I am a firm believer that patience is a virtue. It's something that I've been saying for quite some time. Whether you are the person who is striving and you have your ambition and you're on the path, I don't believe we as people can expect that, "Oh, it's just going to happen tomorrow." No, it takes work. It does take work. And at the same token, I do feel that your support system is supposed to know that too, especially a partner. And I am not sure if, especially us being in our 30s, I do not know if even in our space, in our groups, in our crowds, people understand that still. To your point, when you're saying, you have someone now who understands that, who supports you, who was actually the person to encourage you and push you to pursue something. That tells me right there that someone who really sees your passion, your drive, your talent, and your craft. And so they're totally behind that. And I don't know if people quite understand how to value that of other creatives. Or even if you're not a creative yourself, do you know how to value that in someone you're choosing to be with that has a niche and has a passion and has a talent in the creative space? So I'm glad you were able to pick that up for me and we were able to shine light on that, because one of the things I do find is that it's not conducive to anyone, not whether, and this goes for any type of relationship or relationships. You already know that's my thing. It doesn't matter if it's just your partner. It also has to do with your family, with what we said before. Did your family really believe that this is an actual career until your mom saw you perform? It was kind of like that was the moment for her, like where she realized, my kid got
She
something
still
here.
battled with it though. She even when that happened, she still battled with it though. And I was like, and even my mom, I can't even fault her for that. At first, I was just like, what the hell? But then you understand, you're just like, okay, I see from her standpoint as to where she's coming from with it. Still don't totally agree with it, but you understand it somewhat as far as like where she was coming from. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I do get asked often, like my father doesn't understand what I do with the podcast. He just thinks I'm just talking in a microphone. And my mom, it's funny, every time we talk about it, she'll ask me about it. She always reminds me, but like, are you doing anything about how much you've invested in this? Because like, are you going to see something in the long run? Like that topic, again, it goes back to are you okay? Are you going to be making money off of this? Because I don't know if it's that they were conditioned that way because of what their history is. But
all the generation.
Right. It's that. I think it's definitely that mentality for sure. One of the things I wanted to ask you, what is your greatest struggle? And I mean greatest out of everything that you could look at, what has been your greatest struggle when you were transitioning from, leaving behind one choice of a college career or a major to pursuing acting? What was the biggest struggle with that transition for you?
Yeah, I would say because like I graduated in 2005, so I would say after that it was just finding stuff. It was just finding stuff within that field. I didn't really start making headway until June of '06,
Mm.
and that's where I got my first acting gig because I was at a convention for models and actors. It was like in Midtown somewhere, and then it was like a well-known fitness supermodel who was heading it. And there were people from the industry there and stuff like that. And out of nowhere, the associate casting director for All My Children came up to me. So, and I was like, and then he just came up to me. He was like, "Hey," I was like, "Hey," and he was like, "Just wanted to talk to you about possibly working on the show one time." I was like, "Okay." And so, and then I got his card, sent him and then hit him up. I think that Monday. And then the first episode I was on for All My Children was the one with Rihanna. That was when SOS came out.
Okay.
So yeah, and she is tall as hell in person, by the way. I'm like, yo, this woman is tall. Like I would say without heels, she's at least 5'9".
No.
Yes. I just remember her being tall. I don't know if it was the heels. I remember she was at least I'm 6'2" and a half. So I mean, I just remember as far as like when I saw her, it was like she was here.
Wow.
Yeah. She's tall. And she was singing SOS because it was they had like a club. I think it was called Confusion. That shit was so funny. But it was like she was singing in a club, and yeah, SOS came out at the time, and she performed it there. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So it's funny because that was first of all, I did not know that he worked with Rihanna. So let me just say, if
Well, I
y'all
didn't.
don't,
I was just she did her own thing. I was just like doing what my part. She did her part, and that was it. She was just
okay.
within the same space.
So in
But yeah,
essence, what you did was you did not necessarily work with her, but you definitely breathe in. Y'all were breathing the same air.
pretty
That's what y'all were
much.
doing.
Yes.
Y'all were
Yes.
breathing the same
Yes.
air. For
Yeah.
those of you who have not caught on yet, 30 some 40 something episodes later, I am a huge Rihanna fan, a
Mm-hmm.
huge Rihanna fan. So kudos
I
to
know
Chris.
Riri bad.
Oh my God. Like I'm huge, huge. It's disgusting. You don't want to know the things that go through my mind when it comes to Rihanna. I have no shame in admitting this at all whatsoever. You just don't want to
Oh
know.
no, I have an ex who loves her too. So we still and me and my ex we still speak to this day. My girlfriend's okay with that.
Okay.
But she's also a big Rihanna fan. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So she also has thoughts about Rihanna. Okay, that makes me
Yes, she
feel
does. She's
okay.
even told me one time as far as like when we were together, she was just like, "Yo, Chris, so if she were to hit on me, I'm gonna let you know I'm going. So you can either join me or just let it happen." So I
Oh,
was like, I mean, I'm gonna
yes.
say no. Like, what the fuck?
That
So
that's what I'm talking about. First of all, let me just say this. If there's one thing I wonder about, I know she can sing. I know she's a
mhm,
beautiful woman. Now I know she's a bit tall. Um, she's very talented. The one thing I have yet to figure out is if she smells as good as she looks. And that I have no shame in whatsoever in wanting to find out. I absolutely don't.
right,
That is where my mental is when I look at Rihanna. Okay? That's it. There
yeah,
goes my confession. Shout out to Usher and confessions. There goes my confession. Okay, so thank you for the information on how did that approach. Chris is dying. Listen, I told you. Sometimes she just comes out. What can I tell you?
right.
um, when you said that they approached you, would you consider for the All My Children gig? Would you consider that that was your big break, or was there another moment in your career?
No, it was a stepping stone. I
Stepping
consider it a
stone.
stepping stone.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and I was on the show a few more times after that. I had to get my app. This is before SAG and AFTRA merged, so it was just AFTRA. I joined AFTRA.
Okay.
So, and of course, I was looking into getting into SAG, but then AFTRA and SAG merged, I think in 2013. So I just got grandfathered in. So, and so yeah, I've been in the union for about close to almost 8 years now. Well,
Sweet.
no, I'm lying. If you combine the two, 14 years now. So yeah.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Where you are today, grad school for your
Yes, I go. Yeah, I go to Pace University. So Pace has a division where with the Actors Studio Drama School. If anyone's familiar, everyone knows about the Actors Studio, I'm sure. So yeah, so and the alum that comes out of that. So yeah, so that's who I'm a part of now. So I look forward because supposedly I'm supposed to be working with Ella Bernstein and Alec Baldwin eventually. They're supposed to be doing a workshop with the students.
Okay,
So
okay, okay. This is interesting. We're going. All of my listeners are going to manifest this for Chris, and we cannot wait to see how this unfolds for you and develops for you.
yeah,
But thank you for sharing that little bit of a background. I'm so happy that we were able to shine light on some of the, what would I say? Not hurdles, not some of those little rocks, along the way. And some of those is like beyond our control. And I don't know if all people in all industries have dealt with this, but I'm pretty sure when we think of just our cultures, I'm pretty sure a lot can relate to, the expectations issue. And I do call it an issue because I, as a mother, my speech to my kid is very simple. I do not care what your passion is in life as long as you give it your all and it's your passion. So
mhm,
whatever it is you want to pursue, I'm okay with it and I will support you. But you make sure to
right,
give it your all. Like that's
right,
my thing to him. And I just wish more people were a little bit more open-minded to that. And I hope that that's exactly where our path is going just in life, because while I do respect our credentials and our degrees and our education, and, kudos to us who pursue that and we make it and we do it, there is still a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent. And I think there's just not enough support for it. And so people just
right.
back on pursuing their talents. And so thank you for sharing your story with me. We're
Mm.
going to go into the second segment of Double or Nothing. And this is where we keep it raw on another dose. So I'm titling this laughing because, like, Daisy, what the hell did I sign up for?
I was just like, okay, cool.
All right. I'm titling this, Is There a Limit? Okay. So keeping it very raw. As someone in the creative space, right? Me, at one point, when I decided to pursue having a podcast, I questioned, well, what the fuck is a 34-year-old, almost 35-year-old woman supposed to be talking to? Or speaking on, and to whom,
Mm,
right? Like, do I still consider myself a woman in her 30s because I am in my 30s? But bitch, you're in your mid 30s. You round it up, you're gonna hit 40. So it's kind of like, what am I doing? And I had to question myself on it to really figure out what the purpose was going to be about this show and the topics I wanted to bring, right? But still being realistic to that and thinking of a lot of different industries. When it comes to your industry, is there a limit? Is age a factor? Whether it is
no,
for, oh, okay. So
because
share that
and I
with
say
me.
that because one of the my fault. I'm sorry. No, I say that because there was one of the actresses in the movie Black Panther, right? She played one of these, and she got that at 81 years old. So I mean, there's really no limit. I mean, Morgan Freeman, he didn't start getting his break until what, his like 50. So I don't. There's really no limit. I know they say like the roles kind of lessen when you get older.
Okay.
I have heard that. I don't know. But I've seen like and I know with Chadwick, God bless his soul, like he got his break at 36 with 42, I think. Yeah. So I don't think it can vary. I mean, if people like you and you're marketable, I think anything can happen.
Okay.
So
Shout out to Chadwick because that is actually my favorite movie of his. May he rest in peace. That one I actually watched with my son because my son is a very huge sports fanatic his whole life,
mm,
and
mm,
that movie is just wow. 42 is just one of the best movies I've probably seen
yeah,
ever, to be honest. I
yeah,
ask about the age because I do find it that there are some instances where image again is a big factor, and so age can sometimes affect image. And so
mm,
you see a lot of these I don't want to just say women nowadays. There's some men who also go and they have cosmetic surgery and they do certain things to upkeep their appearance.
Yeah.
And so that's why I asked the question of age. Is there really a limit to pursuing your talents, or to even to the point of Morgan Freeman, getting his big break in his later years? Or even when you see like, I'm huge with the awards. You see some of these actors not getting that one award that they're looking for until their later years too. And it's years and years and years of work that they put into this. And let me just say this. The only reason why I watch this is because I like to listen to the speeches that they give. Those speeches really hit home sometimes. So that's really why
Yeah.
I watch those shows. It's for the speech. It's not to really see who wins. I'm just there to hear the speech. The other piece I wanted to keep her on another dose. Do you find that in the industry itself, there are some industries where there are discrepancies with pay? Mentioning Chadwick, if I'm not mistaken, with one of his movies, he took, I believe, a lesser pay to
I
be
heard that.
able, so the female counterpart would be able to make a certain level of a salary when it came to that project. Do
Was it
you
for 21 Bridges?
I think it was for 21 Bridges. Yes. Another dope ass fucking movie. Damn, that was
I
a good
think.
movie.
And Sienna Miller? I think that was her
Yes.
name. Yeah.
Yes. Do you
Um,
find that that's also like a discrepancy that still exists? Do you find that that is something that you've at all been exposed to, as far as when it comes to female counterparts, or even, with other male, actors?
oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think there is definitely a wage gap as far as with within women, as far as within their respective fields. I mean, look at the WNBA. That's one. That's a very blatant example. Um, and it's just like, and it sucks because they have a lot of talent out of that. You have what? You have the chick for the there's so many names, man, right now. Yeah, Mia Moore, you have um shit, she was my crush. She's actually one of my crushes in WNBA. No, this chick is bad. She plays for the Los Angeles Sparks. Forgot her name. Damn.
That's bad.
Anyway,
Don't let her hear this. Don't let her hear that you forgot her name when she was your
right.
crush.
And then there was another one who's actually very pretty, but she's like ridiculously tall. She's from Australia. But but I forgot what team she played for, but she's nice in ball too. And then you got the Gonzalez twins. They're mad young, but yeah. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, there is definitely a wage gap. And like you said, as far as like with Sienna Miller with the role for 21 Bridges, that's another example. I know for some women that are the elite, they probably don't have that problem. I don't know if they find prejudice in other ways, but yeah, there is one.
The other piece of the question was, have you ever experienced that issue with any of the jobs you've taken, even with male counterparts?
I can't say I have yet.
Okay.
Hopefully I don't, but
Right.
I will say, as far as I can't say I have yet.
Okay. That gives me hope.
I know.
That gives me hope. I said that gives me hope, to be honest, because I want to believe that when it comes to creative spaces, somebody, there's always more than enough for everyone to eat, right? And I
Yes,
want to
indeed.
believe that in any aspect of a creative space, there's going to be more than enough, or there doesn't have to be any sense of favoritism or competitiveness, or we're just going to lean more towards this side as opposed to this side. I want to believe that, because talent is talent. Like I said before, essentially you are the entrepreneur of your talent, of your craft.
Mm-hmm.
You are the CEO of who Chris is. So that nobody else is doing the work for you. It's you. So yeah, I want to believe in that. We are going to lead into the third and last segment of the show. And this is a newly revamped segment. It's called now OverDose. There's two ways we could work this one out, right? So I decided to not always sound so pissed off during the segment, because I'd be going on rants sometimes on something that pisses me off, which is still a safe space, and we can still do that. Or we can also share anything that, does have us on an all-time high with the overdose, right? And is on a positive note. So before I give you my overdose, is there anything that you may have wanted to share? Anything that's on your mind? Anything you may want to, just release? It's a safe space.
No, I was gonna say because we didn't say how. I don't think we mentioned how we met.
Ooh. In college, that's all we said.
All right. So, well, it's not spectacular though, but for me, and I know people are gonna be like, how the fuck did this happen? So I was the vice president of LASO, right? So LASO is Latin American student, so student organization, right? How did a West Indian get a vice president spot? I'm gonna tell you right now. So my boy Ryan, right?
Shout out to Ryan.
Who's Guyanese, and my boy Brian, who was the treasurer, I believe, or the secretary. They came to me and it was like, yo, Chris, we see you got a good vibe about you and stuff like that. People like you. We wanted to make you VP. I was like, but it's LASO though, man. I'm not Latin. I mean, in Trinidad, they have Spanish influence, yes, but I'm not Latin. So he was like, don't matter about it. Fuck all that shit. We're gonna make you VP, and that's it. So I was like, okay. So, Daisy was one of the people that actually she was chilling around. She came there, I think the last year I was there, and as well as far as people who were on the show before. What was it, Vane and Karma?
Karma, yes,
yes. So those are my people too. So I met all of them before I left. So yeah, so I was a VP of a Latin American students club, yeah. Mm-hmm. Person probably only ever to do that. But Daisy was one of the people that I met, and then she would come, me, my boy Lewis, and I think Janelle. As far as we would go boxing at a New York Sports Club on 41st and 3rd, like every Tuesday. So yeah, but yeah, that was the history of me and Daisy.
I just want to say this. Okay, it's funny because I like, on an overdose note, that just brought me so much of a high because he just brought me back to such a good time. So kudos to Chris on that. I'm crying because I'm laughing. Okay. Everyone he mentioned, I remember. I have such good memories with them. I think some of them I still have them on Facebook, on Instagram. So I'll make sure to share this, and when they see it, I hope they tune in and they listen to their shouted out names. First of all, it was very interesting that you were the VP. Let me just say that, because it's so funny how, but you know what? Nobody really gave a fuck. It's true what they told you. Nobody gave a fuck. We were just all together. Yeah. We all vibed. Thursdays was all the way fucking lit. Nobody went to class. We were always in that fucking club room. It was disturbing, but so much fun. And me meeting Chris, and I said this during one of my lives. I don't know if Chris remembers this, and maybe I should share it. It's not even a rant. It's just a good memory on a high. But I don't know if you remember, you grilled me one time.
Yeah, I remember you said that, and I was like, I did? So I was like, and then I was like, okay. I mean, you remember it, so apparently it had impact. So cool. So
no, let me explain what happened. I was a tiny little thing. I still am. And I used to, I would engage in conversation with everybody, right? And I was very, 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 very flirtatious. I was very much so. My listeners already know, some people in college saw first time what my breasts looked like after they got pierced, because it just flashed everyone. Not everyone was in the room, but everyone who was there, they got a whole flashing session. They did. I have no shame in this, Chris. I don't think you were there. I don't remember. But I used to, as you guys know, I say out of pocket shit. And I remember there was somebody in the room. You were there. You were just an innocent bystander, just listening to the conversation. And I was being all flirtatious with this person. And this person was being flirtatious with me. And you just sat down and you gave me, you ever seen that meme with Kermit when he sits down, like he's looking at you like this? Kermit the Frog. I don't know if you've ever seen that meme, like with his elbows on his knee. You sat down exactly like that in front of me. And you was like, yo, when I tell you Chris grilled me, he grilled me. And he was like, so what's the problem? Why don't you go out with him? And I was like, Chris, like, why are you asking? He's like, I'm saying though, like, you flirting with him. He's flirting with you. Why don't you just go out with him? You grilled me in front of this guy. And I was like, I shut my mouth up. I don't think I ever again flirted with this guy. I don't think I ever again flirted with anybody. I definitely stopped flashing people in the club room because I was like, yo, Chris was like, yo, D, like, you got a lot of shit to say. Like, why don't you just go out with him? And I had nothing to say at that moment. So shout out to Chris for probably being the only person in college to ever shut me the fuck up.
Yo, for the record, y'all, I don't remember the shit, but I'm like I said, I'm glad it had it. I guess it had impact. So cool.
I will never forget that. I will never. But you was always, honestly though, but you was always a whole vibe. You was always very respectful. The intent was not a bad intent. The intent was actually very. It was in a sense good and challenging to me because I was just so much mouth with this person. It just wasn't going anywhere. And so you was just like, yo, but what's up with the two of y'all? Like, what the fuck are y'all doing? And so it was a good moment. It was a good moment.
Right.
I will not incriminate anyone. I won't say who that person is. And I certainly won't let you guys know if anything ever happened with that person unless that person ever comes on the show.
Okay. All right. Cool.
To just share one quick overdose. I don't know if you've heard of this new thing called Clubhouse. Have you heard of that?
I have not, no.
Okay, so think of it like as if it's invite only. It's supposed to be for invite to iPhones. And it's essentially a space for creatives to network and, you know, to go to for people for any guidance, any of their expertise, any of their creative niches, anything like that, right? And it's a good thing, right? It's a good overdose right now, but it's sort of kind of maybe a little light on some negativity. And I'm going to turn this into a positive. I promise people, because that's the new route I'm on. So the positive of it, I have to say, I do find that there's great connections being made with some people, with certain creatives. I've been in some pretty dope rooms. So it's like people create rooms and they create a topic and you go in there and you're able to speak. It's strictly audio, right? You're able to partner up with people and really build some form of professional, you know, connections. Now, with that being said, I have a slight concern on some shit that I noticed recently. Like most platforms, right? Eventually they start off with like invite only and then it turns into a public shit. And one of the things I'm noticing now is although it's still invite only, I don't know if it's going to sustain its purpose and value of it being a space for creatives, a space for professionals, a space where people can make those connections and network. I feel like just anybody is getting an invitation. I feel like, yes. And so I'm a little bit concerned of it being a space that's going to lose its purpose and its touch. For example, when you said, you know, you're part of the union and, you know, there's a whole, essentially it's like a team, it's like a family. I'm not saying that I have to build a whole family with this Clubhouse, you know, population. That's not what I'm saying. But I am just slightly concerned. Like we were in this room talking about this whole, this new little scandal that's been going on with Kevin Hart saying something out of pocket to someone in, because he was in there. Somebody created a room about how they don't think Kevin Hart is funny. And Kevin Hart came into the room. It was hilarious. It really was. No, it really was, Chris. Google it. You'll see. It was hilarious. But but there were just some trolls. It looked like there were trolls that came in there, just like with these really funky profile pictures and just saying inappropriate things. And I was just like, you know, we're in a world, right? Virtual is the thing now. COVID has striked, right? And so all of us are really heavy into a virtual space now. We're recording virtually. A whole podcast episode is being recorded virtually. I just have high hopes for a new platform to be purposeful and geared for creatives, to make those connections, to really be able to further grow their business and further development, their craft and skills if they make certain connections. And I just wanted to rant this off because I just don't know if people, humans, understand the purpose to certain shit and if they actually respect it. When you start seeing just anybody getting invited or you just start seeing trolls essentially just coming into a safe space, coming into a space that's supposed to be for real, it's supposed to be for a true substance. And when you think about creatives and how much work they put into even networking and building relationships, I just think it's just a little bit disrespectful when it comes to the truth. That's all.
I agree.
All right, y'all. I promised I wasn't going to make it entirely negative. I just had to let the shit go and put it out there. Is there any last words you would like to share with my listeners, or let them know where they can find you?
You can find me on Instagram. It's Chris Poll 21. It's actually CHRISPOL 21. It's all one word. So you can find me there on Instagram.
Yes, and you guys know I tag my guest handles in the show notes, so please go there and you guys can follow Chris and see where his endeavors take him, and of course his success, because he's going to keep going and we're going to keep seeing more of Chris.
Oh.
This was a dope episode. I want to thank Chris for coming on my show, for sharing his story, giving a little bit of insight on some things that plenty of us sometimes do deal with when we are deciding to pursue certain journeys, certain paths, certain endeavors, and just highlighting some pretty dope topics that not everybody chooses to highlight and to dig deep in. So thank you, Chris, so much for coming on this show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You guys already know this is another week and another episode on Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast. I am your host, Miss D, and you guys will tune in next week. Bye.
Later, y'all.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and we are streaming on all platforms. Check us out on Apple and Spotify, and don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Now let's talk about it.